What's up, guys? Today we're
Hi,
watching
I'm
Windbound
I'm the composer and sound designer
Dev
on
Diary.
Windbound, and it's my job to make all of the music and work with the other sound designers to make all of the sounds for the game. The music in Windbound sort of falls into two camps. There is the sort of procedurally generated stuff, and then there is the more sort of linear, traditional soundtrack stuff.
Procedural, linear.
I was trying to hit this feeling of sort of natural beauty, but not comfort and safety. You know, it's a bit tumultuous. It's a bit there's a lot of unknown. There's mystery, and it's there's survival. Kara's I decided would be piano, partly because I really want people to relate and connect to her, and it's such a. I mean, it's a very Western instrument, but it's a very contemporary instrument, but which also sounds organic.
When we brought in Xander, he already had this idea of a particular approach that we wanted, which ended up working perfectly with the procedural nature of the game.
It's making music that responds to the gameplay and and evolves and changes and does things because it's in a game. The
This
way
game
we
looks pretty awesome.
Is
It's
more
like a Breath of the
realistic than
Wild.
pressing X to go forward.
And they
You've
recently
gotta
just
put
came
the sail
out
in the right position and catch the
with their
wind,
newest
and it actually reminded me of
update
an experience
on
I
December
had with,
21st.
a sea kayak with like a little sail in it, and like trying to catch the wind, and failing terribly in the chilly Tasmanian waters. But as a composer, and especially a composer in games,
Wow, it looks pretty good.
The thing that I love about games is making stuff that's systems driven.
Is this like
I really wanted to get a set of instruments that I felt like I could build around this made up culture of the insulins that Kara is of. And I didn't want to just sort of grab an existing culture and steal their sort of musical modes and their instruments and these sounds. The Gloom Harrows have the Turkish ney, shakuhachi flute, whereas there's Belarusian cymbalum for the Planestalkers. Sounds from all sorts of different cultures, but that I felt like could mesh and blend and then be used in new ways.
As you go throughout the world, the music itself is all procedurally generated with these unique instruments
this look
for
great?
each creature.
A music
It's like,
system that overall sort of knows where the
almost
music
reminds
is
me
at,
of like
and it tells each creature
Sea of
which
Thieves.
chunks of music they're allowed to play at any
Cell
given
shaded
time.
graphics.
So that when
Breath
you
of the
hear
Wild.
two Razorbacks playing the same
Very colorful
musical notes, but in different positions, they're playing them with slightly different instruments, and your brain can sort of pick those apart and tell what position they are, where these sounds are coming from. I didn't want to give them this sort of alien or electronic sounds at all. So it's mostly recordings of props and voices and stuff slowed down or pitched up. Like the blink, the sort of little rabbit thing. That's actually just me going like, and you speed it up and you get this sort of thing. Or the Razorbacks, I get a bucket and you sort of...
Dude, he must love... Oh, his job sounds so
into that
cool. Being a musical composer
And then
for
get hurt.
a video
Not only are
game
the
like
creatures having
this...
the unique sounds, so that as you started hearing them in the
Yeah, it
distance,
must be so fun.
you could tell that, oh, okay, there are some Razorbacks over in this direction, or there is a Planestalker over in that direction. You could have a relatively peaceful experience, but then you get that eerie sound of you know that there's a predator moving in towards you.
Well, the Nautilus was once again a big challenge because it's such a key thing. Yeah, it's a really important part of the game, and just this core of the narrative is all about the Nautilus. In the end, I settled for bassoon. Whenever you're in the crossing, that's between two stages of the game, you hear this. I can't sing that low, but that's the melody you hear, right? And in that context, it's sort of a dramatic thing, like you could very well do that with a French horn lead or something, it's got this almost heroic, dramatic feeling to it. But later on, when you are learning more about the Nautilus in the story, you will hear that same melody reflected elsewhere in a way that's recontextualized, and that I think really shows off how sort of sad and lonesome, but still graceful and powerful that this creature is. I really wanted to try and capture all of that in the music, and so that's sort of why it's a bassoon. Yeah.
Pretty interesting. Brave the Storm. Awesome. Windbound. You don't see a lot of people playing this game. Not on, like, YouTube Gaming or Twitch. But it's a game that's in constant development. And they came out with their new patch December 21st. I haven't checked out the game myself, but I mean, just look at it. It's beautiful.
This idea.
Experience
Yes.
I had with a sea kayak
It's like playing Breath of the Wild.
with like a
I don't
little
know if I
sail
would say
in it,
Genshin
and I'm trying to
Impact,
catch the wind,
but
and found
the
this
music
sounds
really,
from all sorts of different
like,
cultures,
listening
but
to it,
that I felt like could mesh and
it's
blend,
really nice.
and then be used in new ways.
As you go throughout the world, the music itself is all procedurally generated with these unique instruments
man.
for each creature.
A music system that overall sort of knows where the music is at, and it
That's
tells
awesome.
each
That's cool. That's cool. So that's Windbound Dev Diary, the music.
creature which chunks of
Let
music
us know
they're
what you
allowed
guys
to
think
play at
below.
any given
Are you
time.
guys playing the new
Here,
update? What do you guys
two
think?
Razorbacks playing
The
the
music
same
is
music
okay. I'm
notes,
kind of on board with the music.
but in different positions.
The graphics are
They're playing
cool.
them with slightly different instruments, and
The
your
gameplay, I'm
brain
not
can
sure.
sort of pick those
Is
apart
it a
and
story? Is it
tell
an open world
what
survival
position they
game?
are,
Is it more
where the
Breath of the
sounds are coming
Wild
from.
linear focus game?
I didn't want to give them this sort of alien
Is it open
or electronic
world?
sounds at all. So it's mostly recordings of props and voices and stuff.
Are there
super
other
pitched up,
NPCs that you meet
like the
and talk
blink,
to?
the sort of little rabbit thing.
Or is it mostly
That's actually
wildlife?
just me going like.
yeah. That was our look
and
at
spinning
Windbound
upwards.
Dev Diary. Thank you so much for watching.